And episode 55 of True Sports is on the air. I'm Taylor Phillips. He's Louis Tenor. The Dallas Stars are not dead yet. They were down
Nope.
3-0, and they've come back to force a game six tomorrow. And the Celtics have come all the way back from down 3-0 to force game seven against the Miami Heat. Oh, boy.
You know,
And
I knew for one thing that it was not going to be a sweep of Miami because the Celtics they played too hard. They played hard all year, and I know how they can get in the postseason. So I wasn't even thinking like, yeah, okay, they're up 2-0. They're gonna come back at some point. 3-0. I'm still not convinced. The Celtics are a dangerous team, especially the postseason, and they're giving Miami a run for their money. And we got the perfect set. However, I will say this: I thought the shot was late last night in that final game. I thought maybe that they did not get the shot for time because the buzzer had sounded, and rule is that the ball must leave your hands for the shot to count. I did not think that the shot was off in time, but after the review, like, okay, it's clean, But that was very close to
oh, it was
it.
very close, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially in a dire situation like that. And I admire and love your honesty
thank
about the
you.
Boston Celtics, the way they've come back, how dangerous they are, and
They are.
and things like that, and all
That's
those
my uncle. He's a
details.
big Celtics fan. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Why? I don't know, but he is.
Right. So, Heat and Celtics game seven is also tomorrow night on a Monday. And let's see, playoffs, the NBA playoffs. Game seven tomorrow night at 8:30 on TNT. Whereas the Vegas Golden Knights and Dallas Stars are going to be played Monday at tomorrow night at 8 on ESPN. I believe that is in Dallas. I think yes, Dallas.
Yes.
The game center, American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. So we might uh, we might want to keep our eyes on both of those games tomorrow
Oh,
night.
I will. I just hope I can get my other podcast done early tomorrow night too. Oh boy.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, because I have another one tomorrow night with Ralph Garcia at 7 o'clock. So hopefully we'll get that done before game time. Oh boy.
Yeah. A new friend of mine from the the new Calcasas Battlers, which I accepted a play-by-play and announcing gig. Additionally, uh, says comments. Let's go Knights.
Yeah,
Well, we'll see what happens. The
yeah.
Vegas
Well,
Golden Knights still have a chance to close out those Dallas Stars and head to the Stanley Cup to their second Stanley Cup final in franchise history.
hmm, yeah. I mean,
All right. Thanks for chiming in, Andrew.
yes. Thank you.
All right. So there's also baseball going on, and that is in your True Sports Report. Go ahead, Lewis.
All right, and away we go. All right, we'll start, of course, with the scores of the day. Starting off with the major leagues, all games have now been completed. Boy, you got like this. You got like these new rules how they're setting up because they can get the game over with early instead of dragging it into like 4 or 5 hours. Thank goodness. So, and I can the scores in before the show starts. Okay, so we had a doozy of a game here today as the Rays edged the Dodgers 11 to 10. Beeks got the win, Gonzalez got the loss, and Adam got the save in a real old-fashioned pitcher's duel. He's saying sarcastically. The Yankees over the Padres 10-7. Cole got the win and Darvish got the loss. The Orioles edged the Rangers 3-2. Combine got the win. Reagans got the loss, and Batista got the save. In 10 innings, your Detroit Tigers edged the White Sox 6-5. Lang got the win, and Lopez got the loss.
Just two sack flies by Jonathan Scope, and then Eric Haas drove Spencer Torkelson home.
Hmm.
You
Guardians
see the
over
old
Cardinals.
logo?
Yeah. Oh,
back from the 80s and 90s, early
Ah,
90s.
oh yeah, the good old days.
Yes.
Yes, even for me. Guardians over Cardinals 4-3. Curry got the win. Hensley got the loss. Brewers over the Giants 7-5. Ray got the win. Cobb got the loss, and Williams got the save. Blue Jays blanked the Twins 3-0. Barrios got the win. Uber got the loss, and Romano got the save. Royals over the Nationals 3-2. Barlow got the win, and Kroll got the loss. Boy, what happened to the Nationals in 2019? That's all I want to know. Oh boy. Reds over Cubs 8-5. Ashcraft got the win. Smiley got the loss, and Diaz got the save. In another slugfest, the Rockies over the Mets 11-10. Lambert got the win, and Naseka got the loss. Let's put it this way: pitch clock and speeding up games in Colorado, not going to happen because you know how those games can go, and no lead is safe. Now with that Rocky Mountain there, Astros over the A's 10-1. Oh boy. Javier got the win. Medina got the loss. Marlins over the Angels 2-0. Perez got the win. Sandoval got the loss, and Chargos got the save. D-backs over the Red Sox 4-2. Sorry. Kelly got the win. Hook got the loss, and Castro got the save. In 10 innings, the Mariners doubled up with the Pirates 6-3. Saucedo got the win, and Stevenson got the loss. And finally, Braves over the Phillies 11-4. Strider got the win, and Kobe got the loss. And the Braves got 20 hits in that game. Wow. Okay. So now let's take a look at the standings here as we're now approaching June. And that's when the men start separating from the boys.
By the way, we'll get to that tire flying into the crown of the Indy 500 later on in this report.
Right.
So stay tuned, Brandon, please.
Yes. Okay. In the American League East, the Rays are 39-16, 4 games over the Orioles at 34-19. Yankees are coming on strong, 7 back at 32-23. The
Good for
Red
them.
Sox are 10 back at 28-25, and the Blue Jays 28-26, 10.5 back. So still, all teams in the American League East are above 500 in the most competitive division. Now over to the Comedy Central of the AL, the Twins are still the only team above 500 at 27-26, just barely. Ugh. Tigers 25-26, 1 game back. 3 game back at the Guardians at 23-29. The White Sox 22-33, 6 back, and the Royals 18-38, 11.5 back. But
The Tigers are just 1 game back of the AL Comedy Central lead. Wow.
yeah, sad as it is.
Wow.
Okay. In the West, the Rangers are 33-19, 2 ahead of the Astros at 31-21. The Mariners are 5.5 back at 28-25. The Angels 28-26, 6 back, and the comic tragedy known as the A's are 10-45, 24.5 back.
10-45.
Exactly.
They,
Like I said, a
the
comic
A's
tragedy.
couldn't even beat a team make up a 25 fan. They can make
No,
up 25 fans.
no,
Absolutely not.
no. We have more people. We have more people coming to my show last night than people attending the Oakland A's game. Okay. All right. To the National League. The Braves, 32-21, have a 4.5 game lead over the Fish at 28-26. You call them the Marlins. The Mets, even at 27-27, 5.5 back. Phillies, 25-28, 7 back, but not out of it just yet. And the Nationals are the Nationals at 23-30, 9 back. Well. To the Central, the Brewers, 28-25. The Pirates, 26-26, a game and a half back, but looks like they're coming back down to earth. The Reds are 24-29, 4 back. The Cardinals, 24-31, 5 back, and the Cubs, 22-30, 5.5 back. Yuck. In the West, the Dodgers, 32-22, a game and a half over the D-backs at 30-23. No, Randy Johnson must be back. Giants, 27-26, 4.5 back. Padres, 24-29, 7.5 back. And the Rockies, 24-30, 8 back. All right, so now we'll go to tomorrow's schedule. And by the way, happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. So schedule goes like this. Tomorrow, your early games, 105, the Guardians take on the Orioles. 110, the Rangers take on your Detroit Tigers. 215, the Royals take on the Cardinals. 220, the Rays take on the Cubs. Your 410 games, the Rockies take on the D-backs. The Twins take on the Cheaters, diving the Astros. Sorry. 505, the Pirates take on the Giants. 807, the Braves take on the A's. Oh, well. 810, Angels take on the White Sox. 910, the Nationals take on the Dodgers. And at 940, the Yankees take on the Mariners at 940 as they begin a week-long road trip out west. Okay. I hate those games like that. Alrighty. So onto the USFL. Yes, I covered that too, folks. Why don't we just recap the whole week? The Stallions were over the Breakers 24-20 yesterday. The Stars of Philadelphia beat the Pittsburgh Maulers 37-31. Yeah. The Memphis Showboats beat the Houston Gamblers today 23-20. And a game that I saw earlier on Fox, your Michigan Panthers beat my New Jersey Generals 25-22. So we'll take the standings on here as we're in week 7 now. In your North Division, the Philadelphia Stars are 4-3, the Panthers are 3-4, the Generals are 2-5, as well as the Maulers 2-5. I expected better than this. In the South, the Stallions are 6-2, the Showboats are 4-3, along with the Breakers and the Gamblers. So the South is looking to be the better division in the league. And my division is a mess. Of course. All right, so now we'll take a look at some WNBA action. The Vegas Aces beat the Minnesota Lynx 94-73, which is the last score I put in for the day. The Chicago Sky over the Dallas Wings 94-88. And the Indiana Fever beat the Atlanta Dream 90-87. And this was a win that they desperately needed because they haven't had one in a long time. I'll explain in the report. And some soccer news, because I follow that too. I follow just almost everything, folks. So even though that 95% of the population does not care, I still bring it up anywho. Uh, we had two games in MLS today, as Kansas City beat Portland 4-1, and Nashville beat Columbus 3-1. And in the women's department, Washington and New York tied 1 each. All right, so now we'll get on to the news items of the day. And it goes this way. All right, so for starters, the NBA has opened an investigation into longtime referee Eric Lewis involving a Twitter account responding to numerous posts of officiating and defending Lewis, sources told ESPN. The account in question, which has been deleted under a different username, a potential issue of the league rule is that a rule against refs commenting on officiating without public authorization. If it can be proved that Lewis made such comments, he would face significant discipline. Okay, so that's going to be a problem right there. Now, as for your Indianapolis 500 news, okay, we've got it. You've heard the old saying, if you don't succeed, try again. Well, in the case of Joseph Newgarden, it finally paid off. Newgarden won his first Indy 500 on his 12th attempt today and gave owner Roger Penske his 19th overall and his first since buying the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Newgarden outlasted defending champion Marcus Ericsson by 2.5 laps. After the race was red flagged for a third time in the closing laps, Newgarden went from fourth to second by race control. The two-time IndyCar champion, who was 0 for 11 in the Great Race spectacle, took advantage by slingshot around Ericsson on the last two turns for the win. Newgarden brought his Chevy powered car to stop on the front stretch, jumped out of the hole and fence, diving into part of the crowd of 30,000 to celebrate. Then, to top it off, he climbed over the fence to make four-time Indy winner Castellaris. Oh, wow. And the Coca-Cola 500 has been postponed due to rain, as rain was expected to rain today. They'll make that up, I think, on Tuesday because they still need tomorrow to dry it all off the track. Yuck. Let's face it, when it rains out there, it pours in the South. Yeah, okay. At the World Hockey Championships today, Canada prevailed over Germany to win, get this, folks, their 28th world title. That's right, I said 28th. Samuel Ballas scored 2 goals to give Canada a 5-2 win over Germany. Canada leads all time with 28. Russia is second with 27. And Germany has never won. Ballas netted a backhand at 4:51 in the final period to give Canada the lead, which played their fourth straight final. It feels really good. Ballas said, "We've been in Europe for over a month, and we've waited for that moment to play in the title game, and we were lucky enough to get the win." Tyler Toffee stretched the lead to 4-2 from the left circle, and Scott Lafton sealed it with an empty net for the 5-2 victory. U.S. lost in the semifinals. Oh, boy. Moving on. And as we said, well, it's not over for the Stars versus the Kings as Ty Dellandrea scored 2 vital goals in the third period to rally past the Golden Knights in Game 5 of the Western Conference Series. The win keeps the Star season alive for a few more days, as Game 6 will be tomorrow night. Okay. I honestly thought Dallas didn't have much of a chance. Jamie Benn will return after serving a 2-game suspension for cross-checking Golden Knights captain Mark Stone. Stars defenseman Thomas Harley set up Dellandrea's goal by breaking up the Knights' entry with a pass to Joel Cardabina, who played on a diagonal ice pass for Dellandrea, who was on a 1-on-3 rush. Creating time and space was a challenge for Dellandrea, but they had both as he launched a wrist from the top of the right face-off circle. Even then, his window started to close when Knights defenseman Alex Pietrangelo tried to close down the shot, only to have the puck deflect off his stick underneath Aiden Hill's glove to give the Stars a 3-2 lead with 9:27 left in the third period. Less than 90 seconds later, Dellandrea scored again and put the game out of reach for the Knights, which now sets up for Game 6. There have been a few teams that have come back from 3-0, and so although it's not very common, it can happen here to Dallas tomorrow. So I'd wait and see, and that would set for a Game 7 on Wednesday night.
By the way, those fans throwing things like in Game 4,
Oh yeah,
I think that woke up the Stars when
absolutely,
they were down 3-0.
And the overtime goal. The Miami Heat were less than a second away from finishing up the historic upset against the Celtics and heading to the NBA Finals. But with less than a second remaining, Derek White, who served as the inbound passer, managed to release a putback of a Marcus Smart jumper that fell through the net as the buzzer sounded, giving the Celtics a last-second victory in this Eastern Conference Finals series. I do mean last second. The series now heads back to Boston and moves the Celtics one win away from becoming the first team ever to come back from a 3-0 deficit in a playoff series. That's right. No team has ever come back from 3-0 in an NBA playoff series. It's been done in hockey. It's been done in baseball once, but never in the NBA. Derek White came out like a flash of lightning. I came out of nowhere to save the game and the series for Boston. Just like in the 2022 game, the Celtics controlled the game throughout. And like that game, the Celtics had stabilized a lead by 9 points when Jason Tatum took a couple of free throws to make it a 9-point lead with 3 minutes left. You'll probably think game over. Not so fast. But only on that, the Celtics made fewer 3-pointers and a shot worse percentage than he had in any other game this season. It was a horrible night for Jimmy Butler, but he scored the last 10 points for the Heat over a 2-minute stretch. hitting a three-pointer by going 1 for 2 from the line, converting on a one and a foul shot with 3 seconds left, and drawing the foul on Al Horford in the corner on a three after a long review, knocking down all 3 free throws. There was a long review as head coach Joe Mazzulla challenged the foul on Horford, but when the call was not reversed, the challenge was critical in another aspect. It brought the Celtics extra time, extra 9 tenths of a second left, which isn't much. Originally, referee Joe Rashibian called the foul with 2.1 seconds left, but while the officials reviewed whether or not the shot was a two or a three, they could only review time on the challenge. And because they did, the Celtics got the extra time to work with it. As it turned out, they needed every second of it. The ball landed on the hands of White for the game winner, which now sets up for the Game 7 winner take all tomorrow and goes on to face the Denver Nuggets. Fasten your seatbelts, guys. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Okay. And Gabe Vincent returned to the lamp last night as they faced the Celtics. And then a switch, he forward Caleb Martin took the place of Kevin Love in the starting lineup. Vincent missed 5 games after suffering an ankle injury late this game 5, after suffering an ankle injury late in game 4, after landing awkwardly after taking a jump shot in the fourth quarter of that game 4. Vincent made a brief return and was optimistic about returning in game 5, but his ankle did not heal in time. The Celtics was also without Malcolm Brogdon for Game 6 last night with a forearm strain. Injuries aplenty. All right, the Bucks have hired Toronto Raptors assistant coach Adrian Griffin as next head coach of the franchise. Sources told ESPN. The Bucks landed Griffin yesterday, negotiations on a multi-year deal that is expected to officially begin. He signed to be signed soon. Bucks GM John Horst and team ownership became solid on Griffin's leadership, presence, character, and ability to oversee high-powered defensive teams, according to sources. Griffin will replace Mike Budenholzer, who was fired after a stunning playoff loss to the Miami Heat in the first round. Griffin will overtake a franchise that had major success only 2 years removed from their first NBA championship in 50 years. Each of the finalists for the job, Kenny Atkinson, the Warriors Associated head coach, former Raptors coach Nick Nurse, met with the Greek Freak, per sources. This is the first head coaching job for Griffin after spending 4 years as a top assistant for Nick Nurse. The Buffalo Sabres ended a long wait by signing defenseman Ryan Johnston to a 2-year deal coming a month after completing his college career at Minnesota. Johnston will now report to the Sabres AHL team in Rochester, where they are tied in the AHL series against Hershey. The series tied at 1-1. Johnston was selected 31st in the 2019 NHL draft. Good luck. Great. The NBA Fitness to Play panel has cleared Kansas State forward / guard Keontae Johnson that will allow him to be selected for the June draft. His agents Mark Barlstein and Ross Ario told ESPN on Friday. NBA teams were informed of Johnson's clearance in a memo shared by the league's office on Friday. Johnson, considered a possible late first-round pick, will now be able to start traveling and working out with the teams, according to Barlstein. Johnson conducted interviews with teams at the NBA Draft Combine in Chicago last week. Johnson, who played for the Florida Gators, collapsed on the court in a game against Florida State in December 2020. I remember that. And spent 3 days in a medically induced coma. He was diagnosed with a heart condition, but was cleared to play again and landed at Kansas State, where he was voted as the Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. 15 months later, after he collapsed, he made one more appearance for the Gators before entering the transfer portal. I remember that. It happened just before Christmas that time. And that was a scary incident. Hmm. The Denver Nuggets have returned to practice on Friday as they await the winner of the Heat Celtics game to see who will play them in the finals that begin on Thursday. That's right, they will begin on Thursday, regardless who wins tomorrow. The Nuggets did not play since sweeping the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, which seems like eons ago. It is impossible to keep a rhythm going when you're not playing games, said Nuggets coach Mike Malone. Said that after the practice. You can do whatever you want in practice, but there's no way you can recapitulate playing in a playoff game. The Nuggets were off on Tuesday. Some players came in for an optional workout day on Wednesday and worked on conditioning on Thursday before the practice on Friday. And they did practice again on yesterday. So it's been a pretty chaotic week. For my biggest concern is the rhythm, but even more important is the conditioning, said Malone. You have been playing every other day for so long, then all of a sudden you get this layover. I want to make sure we get up and down and conditioned. Despite not knowing who the Nuggets will play in the finals, the Nuggets are shaping up more on the mental side rather than the physical side to stay on top of their game. Well, that's just as important. Just our awareness, especially we need to lock in on our practices for just the detailed stuff, said point guard Jamal Murray, of what they were trying to work on during the break. Let's be on time. Let's not make turnovers. That they're doing scripts, just the kind of simple things, so that we are not getting sloppy just because of where we are. I think it's more of those mental awareness days. We know our bodies. We'll be ready on time when Thursday comes around. So making sure our mental is staying sharp and locked in throughout the break. We don't want to get relaxed. I think that's the biggest thing. We don't want to get relaxed. Just wait and just wait. We want to stay sharp. And yeah, you do. All right. So move on to the other news of the day. Okay. Free agent running back Le'Veon Bell admitted that he smoked marijuana before NFL games. Oh
Ugh,
boy.
come
Yeah.
on.
Oh, but there's more, folks.
At least
Bell,
he admitted it.
that's true. Bell, who last played in 2021, opened up on the topic on the Steel Herd podcast. Naturally focuses on the Steelers. Bell played for Pittsburgh from 2013 to 2017, then sat out 2018 in a contract dispute with the team. Looking back on this, that's what I did when I played. I smoked. Even before the games, I smoked. And I would go out there and run for 150, 2 touchdowns. After Bell left the Steelers, he played for the Jets in 2019 and just 2 games in 2020. The head coach at the time, Adam Gase, who came under criticism from Bell on the podcast.
Are you talking about Le'Veon Bell?
Yes,
Oh,
Levon. I say
oh,
Levon.
Le'Veon Bell, former Michigan State Spartan. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. Oh wow, he a full
boy.
admission of guilt.
Yeah.
Huh,
But at least he
wow,
admitted it, so at least he can cover it up.
he's coming clean.
I mean, you're
It, it,
stupid for doing it, but still,
yeah,
you know. All right, the Pirates, who were off to a good start, have now come back down to earth, and left-handed pitcher Vince uh, Velasquez was on the 15-day injured list with elbow inflammation.
Vasquez,
Yeah,
I think.
Velasquez, who returned from the injured list just yesterday in his start
Vasquez.
versus the Mariners, made his first start since May 4th and gave up 4 runs on 7 hits in a 5-0 loss. Oh boy. Pirates recalled right-hander Cody Bolton from AAA Indianapolis. Bolton made his MLB debut last month with the Pirates, posting a 4.50 ERA with no decisions in 3 appearances across 6 innings. He is 1-1 with an ERA of 2.08 in 13 appearances for Indianapolis. Velasquez is 4-4 with a 3.86 ERA in 8 appearances for the Pirates in his first season after signing a 1-year, $3.1 million deal in December. Through his 9 seasons in the majors, this guy's pretty bad. His record is only 38-51 with a 4.88 ERA. He has made 144 starts in 191 games with the Astros, Phillies, Padres, White Sox, and now the Pirates. Not somebody I think I can rely on with that kind of a record.
Hmm.
Yeah. San Diego Padres left fielder Juan Soto was a late scratch against the Yankees with back tightness on yesterday. The injury was announced 10 minutes before the first pitch, I should say, um, of today's 3-game series. Sato was held out of the starting for the first time this season and was replaced by Jose Azocar. And they won 3-2 yesterday in extra innings. Sato was set to bat third in the lineup, and Alexander Bogarts moved up to that spot, not starting yesterday because of wrist soreness. He didn't say which wrist, though. In his first season with the Padres, Sato was batting .263 with 10 home runs and 24 RBIs. This is actually his first full season. He came to the Padres from the Nationals after last season's trade deadline. It's his first full season, so let's call it a season and a half. Brewer shortstop Willie Adams was placed on the 7-day concussion list yesterday after being hit by a foul ball in Friday's games against the Giants. He spent the night in a local area hospital just as a precaution, though. So nothing too severe as far as we know. Teammate Brian Anderson was batting at the bottom of the second inning when a line drive struck Adams, with the video showing the ball that appeared to hit him on either his head or his face. Oof. Adams was able to walk back to the clubhouse, and manager Craig Counsell said that Adams suffered no broken bones and went on to a crushing 15-1 victory. However, the game was stopped for a few minutes to allow the Brewers training staff to attend to Adams, who was on the bench. Anderson's concern was apparent on his face as he waved from near the batter's box. So it doesn't look to be too serious since he was able to walk under his own power. The Royals released third baseman slash outfielder Hunter Dozier yesterday. Dozier was placed on assignment on Monday after only batting .183 with only 2 home runs and 9 RBIs in 29 games this season. Yeah, not so good. Moving right along. This is his third year of a 4-year, $25 million extension that he signed back in March of 2021. The Royals remain on the hook for the remainder of his $7.25 million in 2023 and the $9 million he's owed next season. It is a very tough decision based on who he is as a person, as a teammate, and as a worker, said manager Matt Cortino. We think the world of him as a person. In his career, Dozier has hit 73 home runs with 235 RBIs and 594 at bats. Usually, pitcher David Hayes, whose career was interrupted by a cancer diagnosis, has announced the disease has returned. The last few weeks have been a whirlwind in his journey. It seems that he does not. It seems like it does not want to go away. He posted that on social media on Friday. We found inside my tumor that there is a rare aggressive type of cancer called adenosarcoma. Along with that discovery, lung noodles have popped up, and we are not sure what to make of it yet. Hess will have surgery on Tuesday to biopsy the noodles to remove the tumor. He will also undergo chemo treatments as well. He said, "I will fight like hell to do what I need to get to be cancer free." And we certainly wish you the best of luck. Despite having a better season, the Orioles have demoted pitcher Grayson Rodriguez to AAA Norfolk. as he struggles in the majors. Rodriguez is 2-2 with an ERA of 7.35 in 10 starts. Folks, that's awful. The right-handed pitcher has thrown 43 and a half innings with 56 strikeouts and 21 walks for a 2.7 walk to strikeout ratio. So far this season, he has given up 13 home runs. Yeah, that ERA is terrible. Yuck. All right. Um, on the lighter note, Phillies closer Craig Kimbrell had a special night on Friday as family and friends gathered to watch him reach a rare milestone. The hard-throwing closer became only the eighth pitcher to earn 400 saves as the Phillies beat the Braves on Friday night. I'm happy it was here in Atlanta, said Kimbrell, who began his career with the Braves. I'm happy the majority of my family came to see it and enjoy it, as there were about 30 or 40 family members who attended. Appearing in his 730th game, Kimbrell worked to score us ninth to get a six save and six chances on the year. Of the seven previous relievers to reach 400, only Mariano Rivera with 697, Trevor Hoffman with 706, and Kenley Jansen with 778 reached that milestone fewer than 800 games. Kimbrell, the National League Rookie of the Year in 2011, spent his first five seasons with Atlanta and was a four-time All-Star with the Braves and had 186 saves, which is still a franchise record. In his first season with the Phillies, he faced 54 batters, striking out 26 in 14 innings, but has also struggled as his ERA balloons up to a 5.68. Ugh. Kimbrell was born in Alabama. He's an eight-time All-Star and has one World Series title in 2018 with the the Red Sox. Ugh, Red Sox. Thankfully, was their last one. All right, and even managers get carried away sometimes. Case in point, Aaron Boone was suspended one game for his recent conduct towards umpires. Then again, managers argue with umpires all the time. Just as Billy Martin. Boone served a suspension on Friday against the Padres. Carlos Mendoza took over as the Yankees lost 5-1 on Friday against the Padres. On Thursday, Boone was fined for an undisclosed amount and was ejected for the fourth time this season and his second in 4 days. His most famous injection was in 2019, saying that they were savages in the box. Rant. Oh yeah, recall that. Speaking before the suspension was announced on Friday, Boone says he knows that he's earning a reputation for arguing with the umpires, but does not believe that it's changed the way he has and the way umpires feel about him. Boone was tossed in the middle of the third inning in a game versus the Orioles by umpire Edwin Moscato while arguing the strike zone. Boone indicated he thought the umpire missed four calls and held up four fingers to express his displeasure. While his ejections are accumulating, Boone does not believe it has affected how umpires call a game when it involves the Yankees. Okay. I think they come in for the most part with a blank state, said Boone. I do think there is the occasional bias that does exist. We are human beings, and I'm sure there are certain people who don't like hearing from me. His desire to voice his opinion does not mean that Boone goes into the game with the desire to get ejected. Well, at least I sure hope not. Yeah, that's what you don't need. A desire to get injected. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, Aaron Boone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
four times. Yeah, he's got to cool down.
Yeah. I mean, we could see another Billy Martin here because he was the same way. And
Right.
of course, yeah, of course, and of course, I think he holds the record for being hired and fired the most times.
Hmm. Tell me
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I think it was six times that they got hired and fired by George. How I put up with him, I'll never know.
Loyalty.
Loyalty or stupidity?
Well, they can be combined together,
Yeah, I mean, because you
especially
got
in
to be pretty.
Detroit.
Yeah, because you got to be pretty stupid to keep hiring the same guy and make the same mistakes. I mean, are you that gullible? Sheesh. Okay, Commanders tight end Amari Rodgers, who anticipated becoming a bigger part of an offense this season, is now out for the season, suffering a non-contact Achilles injury. Oh boy. Rodgers suffered the injury as he was running in OTAs back on Wednesday. In 11 games with only 3 starts, Rodgers only caught 5 passes for 64 yards last season, but missed time due to knee and ankle injuries. He transitioned from being a college quarterback at Nevada and Ohio University to an undrafted free agent as a tight end. His progress as a blocker and pass catcher pleased the Commanders. They said this is a big blow to us, said Coach Ron Rivera. He progressed well for us last season, but we are confident with a group of tight ends. Commanders still have Logan Thomas and Josh Bates, as well as the 2022 fifth-round pick Cole Turner and undrafted free agent Curtis Hodges. I think I got one or two more notes here,
All right.
although from the unusual department, because let's face it, I am unusual. Because I also have notes from the WNBA.
We're all unusual.
Okay. As I mentioned, the Indiana Fever won tonight's game, and it was a long time coming because after nearly a year of consistently losing, the Indiana Fever won a game, and the Fever ended a 20-game losing streak as they beat the Atlanta Dream 90-87, tying the longest streak in league history. 20 games without a win. That's yeah. Uh, we have talked a lot. We have talked about this from day one in our team meetings. Culture is the most important thing, says Coach Christine Sides. Culture, playing hard, and being the hardest working team in practice. I promise you, this team works hard every day. The Fever has not made the postseason since the retirement of Tamika Cummings back in 2016. Postseason drought followed 12 straight postseason appearances and 3 trips to the finals, including winning the title back in 2012. Wow, 11 years ago. And finally, the Chicago Storm were without forward Isabel Harrison and is out for the foreseeable future as she underwent surgery to repair a torn meniscus in her left knee. The team announced
Oh.
that last Tuesday. Boy, yeah. Harrison has played 6 games this season in WNBA for the Sky. The previous 4 with the Dallas Wings. She went to the Sky, signing as a free agent back in February
It's devastating.
of this year. Selected 12th in 2015 by the Mercury after playing her college years at Tennessee. She averaged 8.6 points per game, along with 4.9 rebounds throughout her career. The Sky, who lost players Courtney Vandersloot and Candace Parker to free agency, at the time of this report were 2-0. That includes their victory against the Mercury, who welcomed back the return of the one and only Brittany Griner.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they're happy that she's back. Right, so that'll wrap up my report for the night. I'll turn it back over to you.
That's episode 55 of True Sports. We'll be back next week for episode 56. I'm Taylor. He's Lewis. Check out my other show, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, on YouTube at the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. Ta-ta, power to the people.
Go Dallas Stars.